Hey everyone, this is Brandon, the Twitter Dr. Krieger, and today is Freestyle Friday. I'd like to thank you guys for your support and following. I know it's been a while. It's been about a month and a half since I've done Freestyle Friday. Just to let you know what was going on with me, so you guys can understand why I haven't done a video and an audio for a while, was that Christmas holidays, everything was good, kind of disconnected. I had New Year's. Then when I got back into January, had a few contracts I was working on, some things was doing really well, and then ended up, coming to completion to a lot of contracts. So I was able to get back to doing the things I like and doing the things I enjoy by doing videos, doing audios, help teaching, doing like more one-on-one coaching, as well as doing like live events, talks, and presentations. But you'll see probably in the next 2 to 3 months, I'll be doing more talks and presentations. Might be even start like a webinar. So I'm getting all that set up because I really want to get out into the community and help as much as I can. Now in January, one of the things that came up and was really important, I was working this as myself, and this is one of the blogs I've set up, was Brandon Krieger The Journey, was that it was business challenges that people were coming up with, as well as just making sure that I had all my systems in place. Because when I was doing consulting and working with businesses, the one challenge was, and it was good that I had my team in place, was that I had to make sure that I had my foundation, I had everything set. And when you look at the 3 main areas, what I want to talk about today is exactly just that. Make sure that your business plan is dynamic, that you can it's not so static that you can't develop and you can't grow. Make sure that you understand and work with contracts, right? Depending on your business and who you are. I mean, sometimes we do, like, how can you say, like, entrepreneurs are more home-based business. They don't look at the growth potential of working with suppliers, joint venture partners, angel investors, whatever that may be, and these involve contracts. So making sure you understand contracts and you have the team in place to be able to help you through that. And that was like one of the things that I came across in January, and I was so grateful that when I set up my business, I did set it up to be dynamic. I did set up the contracts that I had and going back and forth, but I mean, I had to review them and I had to make sure they were proper, which then my team came into play, where they were essential to helping me grow my business. So let's go through this a little bit. All right, dynamic business plan. And what I mean by that is to make sure that your foundation is set. All right, first and foremost, you have to have a strong foundation. I mean, you have to know what your rates are, what kind of product and service that you're looking at promoting and selling. Now that area can be a little dynamic depending on your community. Right? Listen to your business. Listen to what's happening with the growth. Listen to how your clients are asking for certain products or services, depending on the trend, depending on the environment, depending on the economy, whatever that may be. If you keep your ear to the ground and listen, your business might transition to something, a new product, a new service, but not completely into a different realm. So I'll give you kind of an example scenario. Say, for example, you're a plumber, right? And your business is plumbing, and that's how you work, and you do a lot of sinks, toilets, whatever that may be, dishwashers, setting up to help to run the pipes, whatever that may be. Well, that person's not going to, your client's not going to ask you if you do fix cars, right? Unless you kind of give them the impression that you do, but that's a completely different industry. I mean, your business won't grow that way. But say, for example, they're asking about higher end pipes, taps, whatever that may be. Well, maybe you didn't think, well, you know what? You could be a distributor of Mono or one of those suppliers and look at how that would help your business. So that's why I'm saying it's good to kind of listen into what your clients are saying. And when we look at like the online marketing, social technologies, and really being connected, you'll see that if you're not getting that content or information back from your clients, you might be able to listen to the people, your business partners, or people that are in the same niche or category as you are, and hear what their clients are saying. So you're able to say, okay, you know what? I see a lot of the clients are asking for Google Plus training, right? And they're really looking for it. Not many people are doing it. Well, you know what? There's a demand, there's a need. Say you're a social media, social networking, social technologies coach. You can say, okay, you know what? I'm going to teach a course, right? Because I can see people are looking for that. So that's what I'm saying. Really keep your ear to the ground, listen, and if you're in that niche, see how can it expand, right? But it's again, still having the foundation that you're not going to jump into a completely different niche. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I always say, test your business now out, make sure it's working, make sure there's growth potential, make sure that you're seeing success. Because if you're not, you have to kind of reevaluate your business and keep analyzing it and seeing, what's going on. See what I consider is the energy of the business. And if the business is not doing well and it's been 3-4 years, right? And I mean, knock on wood, you haven't invested a lot of money, and if you have, hopefully you're catching yourself before you invest tens of thousands of dollars into your business and then realize just the business is not, lucrative enough. I always say, like, test to measurable results. So when you're doing something, you're releasing a product or releasing, a service, whatever that may be, test it first, see how it works, see if there's any bumps in the road, see what needs to be optimized, adjusted, and then bring it out to the market. Right? And being able to do that, you're going to get better results because you're going to be able to see what's going on. Now, and that's why I say adapt. Right? Because, I mean, don't get emotionally tied to an idea, a product or service, because what happens is sometimes it doesn't work out. And if you get emotionally upset about it, you actually hinder your growth and you hinder any future growth of any ideas that you might have, because what happens is you get stuck, right? You get frustrated, and then what happens is you can't grow and you can't think, right? Because you're always kind of mad at that, oh my God, that one project did not work, and why didn't it work, and what happened? Oh my God, that person sucks. Well, no. Okay, what happened? Why didn't it work? Okay, we didn't have the right systems in place. Okay, so going forward, what systems do I need to have in place? Do I need to have maybe a writer? Do I need to have a coach? Do I need to have a financial advisor? What team do I need to have in place to be able to adapt to that project, to make it more efficient next time so it'll work? Do I have to do more market research, right? Did I not get any sales, right? Did I develop a product or service, take it to the market and say, hey guys, here's my product, and I got like 0 sales? Well, that just shows that you have to do more market research and ask, right? Do, some test runs of it. Do some promotional. See if it's really an interest in that industry that people will want to buy, right? Is it really meeting a challenge? And then adapt to that. Maybe they're like, okay, it's meeting the challenge, but there's 4 things that are missing that would really meet that full challenge. And you're like, oh, I never even thought about that. Boom, now you add those 4 things. Now your product is marketable. So just to kind of give you an idea. Now, I tell people to stop before you start to do anything. Always look at your contracts, all right? Agreements, legalities, whatever that may be. Make sure, right? You know what you want. You know what you want personally, because when you're dealing with business, you got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, right? And then you start to look after what I consider is the I, we, and all. So you look after you. Make sure the legalities are covered. Make sure that you're getting the percentages, the price points, whatever that may be that you want. And then look at how it's going to help your community, how it's going to help your business partners, how it's going to do that. Now, of course, when you're in business, you don't want to be arrogant. You don't want to be rude that you're taking 90% of the profits and you're doing all that. You want to kind of, I don't want to say manipulate, but I'll say like degrade your business partners and say, okay, well, their value is not that, as much as yours. You want to have a balance, right? Now, of course, don't get me wrong. If you're bringing, all the money to the table, all the intellectual property, and they're only doing like the labor work of it, maybe the percentage should be 60-40, right? I don't know. But I mean, that's case by case scenario. But what I'm saying is make sure there's a balance, right? And a balance of energy coming in, how much is being brought to the table, and then how much is being outputted, right? And I did an article about that the other day when I was talking about the infinity loop, right? Talking about energy. So, and the reason why I say this is make sure that you go in to any contract, any deal, knowing what you want. And guys, I've made that mistake. This is the reason why I'm telling you. I've gone into business deals thinking one way. And here, I'll give you an example. I went into one business deal where I was going, you know what, I actually want to do like shares and profit sharing. And then when I got into the actual business deal, I was like, damn, I'm not going to get paid for 3 years on this. Right? And okay, so if I don't get paid for 3 years, what else am I going to do? And then when I read through the contract, their obligation, what they really wanted me, was a full-time job and not getting paid for 3 years. And I mean, the contract, no fault at the business. I mean, the ones that I was going to sign this contract, I have no ill will against them. That was me. I did not explain what I wanted properly. So then I understood at that point going forward, anytime I do a contract, anytime I do that, I have a business team that looks over it and says, okay, Brandon, are you sure this is what you really want? Because you're saying this, but this is what they're giving you. Or you said this, and this is what you're giving you. Are you sure you want that? So make sure. I mean, I made the mistake, and that's why I'm telling you guys to make sure you know what you want. Have your team review it. And that's what I just said, right? I have a team that I'll discuss in the next slide, but have your team of business professionals that can help you out, right? That can really look over everything and make sure that you're on point. Now, the next point is, and I'll talk about your team after, but the next point is don't feel bad to say no and walk away. One of the challenges that I had is the emotional investment that I had in certain ventures. I felt bad to say no. I was like, oh my God, I can't leave this. It's going to be so good, and it's going to make so much money. It's going to do all these things. But that was my emotional estimation, right? I was emotionally estimating how big this project was going to be instead of logically looking at it and going, okay, hold on. Is this going to support me? Is this going to cover my needs? Am I going to get my energy back that I'm putting in? If that's the case and it's no, then you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be logistically honest with yourself, right? Because what happens is sometimes, and I've done it too, that's why I'm saying this. I've done it to the point where I've sat there and emotionally estimated that how good a project was going to be, how much money I was going to make, and I got so excited, and the project didn't do what I expected, what I emotionally invested into it, and then it failed. So then I got upset, and I was so mad. But the challenge was I never analyzed, I never did the research, I didn't understand by what was actually needed to be able to do the work. So then when I assumed, right, emotionally how good this project was going to be, and then when I got into it, I realized how much work I really didn't do, how much preparation I needed to do ahead of time, and that's why it actually didn't do as well as I expected. I emotionally expected. All right, so that's what I'm saying to you. Don't feel bad. I mean, business is an energy on its own. It's its own entity, and you have to be happy from the journey of what you're learning from, right? How you're learning, your bumps and bruises. And that's why I'm doing these videos now, is to kind of cut that down for you. All the challenges and trials and tribulations that I've gone through, I'm trying to give to you guys. So then what happens is you look at this and go, Brandon told me X, Y, and Z. Brandon told me to make sure I look at my contracts. He told me, to make sure my team reviews it, okay? I have a great, strong legal team. I have, people that are on my team. I had them to review it. Everyone's on board. No challenges. Boom, I can go forward. Now, I want to talk about your team because that's very key to all this, right? Make sure you have a good lawyer. Now, I mean, you have a business lawyer, financial law, whatever that may be. Make sure that that you have a great lawyer that you trust, right? And do interviews. And one of the things I say to people who are looking for lawyers or don't maybe have one, go interview them, see if they're the type of lawyer that you want to work with, then interview their clients, right? And take a list of, ask them for permission, of course, a list of 5 to 10 clients, and then go call them, sit down with them, have a coffee with them, and ask them. I don't want to talk about, the details of any of your case and all that, but I'm looking at retaining, our lawyer. I want to know what experience you had, what challenges you had. Kind of go through the interview process. Because the reason why that is you have to have a lawyer that you trust, right? It's so important in this day and age to have a lawyer that can, look after you, that you have a great relationship. And I have a lawyer that I work with that she's not only just my lawyer, she's actually a business friend and a really good friend that we look at, all different ventures, from ventures she's doing, the ventures that I'm doing. So we really work together because I can't see it all. I might be a social technologies coach, a holistic lifestyle coach, business coaching, whatever that may be, but I can't see everything. So I always need a second pair of eyes or someone better just to look at it, just to see it from a different view, a different angle. An accountant, financial advisor, both, if they're one and the same, that's awesome. Or have an accountant and a financial advisor. But make sure you have one that you can understand finances, you can understand how your bills are, you can understand how your business is growing. The reason why is, and again, this is the emotional estimation part, to have someone logistically write down the numbers for you, to be able to say, okay, you know what, Brandon, this is the numbers you're saying, but this is what's actually going on. And you going, oh, okay, I thought it was this way. I wrote it down. And you're not wrong, but just look at the growth potential and, I mean, how the industry's going. So it's, again, that's that second, third pair of eyes to really look at it, to be able to say, you know, Brandon, are you really sure? Are you sure you're invested? Are you sure you understand what's going to happen? And the reason why that is you just have these checkpoints when you're going through, you know, negotiation, when you're going through deals, so that you can be covered. Now, I always recommend, I have a business coach and a life coach that I work with, right? A few of them that, you know, are my colleagues and friends that I'll sit down with and just shoot ideas off them, just to say, okay, hold on a second. You know, this is what I'm thinking. You know, this is the business idea. This is what's happening. What do you think? And have them come back to me and bounce ideas and bounce questions off me, so then I can sit there and go, oh my God, okay, yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that. Oh, I never thought about, you know, number 3, number 4. What did you mean by that? What's going on with that? And then we bounce some ideas to come to a real strong foundation to be able to say, okay, this is something we move forward with, or something that we say, okay, no, we got to walk away because it's just not sitting right. And that's the good thing about having this team, the lawyer, the accountant, the financial advisor, the business and life coach, all kind of in your team, is so that you are able to go back and make sure that you're on the right track. Now, just to kind of recap, right? Make sure your business is dynamic, right? That you can grow, you can change depending on your clients, how your business is growing, you know, how your sales is doing, right? Make sure that it's all in one. Contracts. Make sure that you have a good understanding and a team that helps you look over your contracts. Because again, guys, I've made the mistake where I've looked at the contract and I'm like, this is awesome, this is a great contract. Then I've taken it back to my lawyer and she goes, okay, did you know this clause? I'm like, yeah, this means that. She goes, yeah, it does, but just to kind of give you an idea, that actually ties you down for the next 6 months to a year. And you're like, well, the contract I wanted was a little bit, you know, longer, a little bit shorter because I have other things. Well, this actually ties you down a little bit longer than you think. Is that what you really want? Okay. And again, one of the other challenges with the contracts, Class B shares are different types of shares. You know, what can happen with the shares, right? So one of the companies was offering me shares, and it's like, okay, I thought the shares would be good, right, and understand them. But then my lawyer came back and said, okay, hold on. Do you understand these shares? When an investor comes in, the investor can reduce the value of the shares. And you're like, oh, I never even thought about that, because I was all caught up in how the emotional estimation and how good the business was going to do versus really looking at the logistics and the numbers. And it took my lawyer to be able to do that, as well as my accountant to be able to look down and both agree that, okay, you know, this is not really as best as an opportunity as it should be. So then going back, I was able to say, okay, you know, I understand the contract a lot better. Next is your team, right? Make sure that you have a strong team in place, right? And what I mean by that is that lawyer, the accountant, your business coach, anyone else that you want to get involved, so that you can take a business idea and then play it off each other, so that you guys know exactly that you're on point, that there's no things that are up in the air, or some things that just don't make sense, that you have a different pair of eyes, 2, 3, 4 pairs of eyes that are looking at the business plan, looking at the contracts, looking at your, you know, your service, your product, and giving you kind of feedback, so when you go to the market, when you go and sign these contracts, that you're ready to go. So guys, this is the Freestyle Friday. I'm back doing them again. I'd like to thank you for listening and watching this video. If you have any questions, you can always email me at info@knssconsulting.com. Make sure you sign up on iTunes so you can get the audios every time I do them. They automatically come to you. Other than that, guys, email me, comment below. Actually, comment below this video. All right, it's on YouTube if you guys are listening to the iTunes version of this, go to YouTube, comment below, let me know what you think, as well as let me know any kind of topics you guys want me to cover. So guys, I'd like to thank you for watching, listening to this audio video, and again, have a great weekend, guys, and I hope to talk to you soon.